Alrighty, so you run some ads on TikTok, you let your campaign run for a couple of days, and then now it's the time to analyze, look at your data, and optimize based on that. You see, if you are not taking advantage of your previous numbers and your previous ad creatives, you are playing a casino game. You are guessing when it comes to launching the next ad creatives, and that might lead to a lot of money living on the table. Now, in this video, I am going to show you step by step on how to look at your numbers, read, understand, and leverage the data so you could create more winning ads for your next campaigns. So to do that, let me go to my TikTok Ads Manager, and then I will kind of show you an example here what we could do to understand better what our TikTok ads are saying to us and how we could optimize based on that. Make sure to go to your TikTok Ads Manager, and here you want to go to the ad level. We want to look at, first of all, what is going on the ad level, how our ad creative is performing. In fact, most of the time, all your attention has to be invested on your ad creatives, because this is what is going to move the needle. With TikTok, we have lots and lots of metrics, such as your total cost, your cost per click. But in this video, I am gonna go a little bit more advanced, and I will show you something that is a bit kind of covered, but you could learn a lot from your ad creatives that you are running right now. So go to one specific ad, and my recommendation would be to go to an ad that has spent the most. So for example, right here, this one, and click here where it says view data. Now here I'm gonna explain each thing that they are providing to us, because we could learn a lot. So the first thing is we could see, of course, what is the total results from this ad creative, what is the cost per result, how much we've spent so far, like the impressions and all this kind of stuff. Now, I want to look at this kind of chart. So what we could see in the first days here, we've spent pretty much every single day $100, because first of all, when I launched this campaign, it was only one single ad. Afterwards, from this particular date, we launched some more ad creatives, and then happens very often. If you have 2 or more ad creatives under each ad set, if you put, let's say, $100 as a daily budget, it's not gonna go even to each ad creative. So we could look also every single day how many add to cart this particular ad is getting. But in terms of this chart, we can click here on this drop down where it says total cost. And now one thing that I like to look at is the click-through rate and also cost per click. Why is that? Because you see this line that is highlighted with a blue color, which is our CTR, and when we have here the total results, I want to see whether the CTR is impacting the number of results that we're getting. So let's say that we have this kind of situation that, let's say that our CTR is going down, and then our results also kind of looks that they go kind of downhill. That could be a proven signal that your ad creative kind of got fatigued and you need to improve it and you need to launch something new into that ad set. In this case, we could see that it kind of goes stable, and the results, they kind of also are close to this blue line, which is our click-through rate. So in this case, this is fine. Also, the same thing with cost per click. I want to see how the cost per click is impacting the number of results. Pretty much the results is what we are optimizing for. In this case, is add to cart. Now, we also can have here an option to look at what kind of placements the spend is going towards. Now, in this particular ad set, we are just using TikTok, and this would be actually my recommendation. If you want to get after purchases, only use the TikTok as the placement. Now, the next thing, and here is the gold nugget. We have here the audience section. We could learn about what is the age and the gender of our ideal client, because you see, if you are thinking that you know a lot about your client, actually you don't, because TikTok, Facebook, they have billions and billions of data points about their users. They know a lot more about who is your ideal client. That's why here you could see what would be your ideal client, what kind of age, what kind of gender, and then we'll go also further into location and things like that. Now, maybe something that you would be wondering about it when you are looking at the data and you see, let's say something like this, that most of your spend is going between 18 to 24, and now you will be tempted to go and optimize every single ad set that you are running and put only like the age range between 18 to 24. That will be a pretty bad decision, because if you're trying to narrow it down too much, the audience pool is going to be so small that eventually you'll run out very quickly, you'll burn out that audience very, very fast, and you will not be able to scale your ad creative. That might work in the short run, but for the long term, it's not going to perform that well. So what my recommendation would be in this case, if you see that most of the spend is going, let's say in this case, to 18 to 24, is to optimize your ad creatives based on that. Meaning is, let's say, for example, that right now you have a model in your creative that looks 30 plus. You take this feedback and another creative with a person that is in age range between 18 to 24. That will resonate much better with your ideal client. Of course, it will not talk to every single person over here, but it will have much more chances to be scaled, because TikTok knows that this is where your audience, most of your audience is. Now, other things than that is also like gender. Here is something I would say, do not try to overcomplicate it. As you can see, we're keeping it broad. We are targeting both genders, but as I was thinking about it, when I just created this ad set, that most of the spend is going to go to male, because products mainly are for the men gender. From here, there are not so many things that we can learn, but still it is meaningful for us to know a little bit more about our client. Moving forward to the location, here we have, the top countries, also the regions. We are only targeting here the United States. And another thing that we could learn here is, let's say that most of your spend is going to a specific region. So now it's time to make a little bit of a research about that region. Let's say in this case is California. What we could do with our creatives is to make them have that kind of Californian vibe. Of course, it has to be like within your business message, within your branding, but just something that we could learn and implement in our next and future creatives. Notice that I'm not talking about narrowing it down just to a specific region. That is not how you could scale your ad creatives. The audience pool is so little. Let's say in California, I don't know what is the population, but like comparing with the entire United States, you have much more potential kind of customers that would be interested to buy. So just narrowing down to California, you are leaving a lot of money on the table right there. Next is the interests and behaviors. Now here is where I have a lot of fun. So comparing with Facebook, TikTok actually tells you also what are the interests that your ideal client might be into. Now we have here also tiers. We have tier 1, 2, 3, and 4. What does this mean? Well, tier 1 would pretty much mean that these interests that you are seeing right here, they are the most relevant to the audience that we're trying to kind of target. I'm not saying that the interests that we have here from tier 4, they are not that relevant, but from my recommendation, I would say that when you're creating the next new ad creatives, is to look first of all at all the interests, all the audience interactions with videos when it comes to the tier 1, because this is where your ideal client is in your kind of pool of potential customers, and there is where you could learn a little bit more about with the next ad creatives that will have much more chances to be converted. So let's say that in this case we see that the number 1 interest for us is games. However, we are selling here fashion products. So that's something very, very interesting actually, because now we could create some videos that kind of portrays the lifestyle of a person who is kind of playing games while we're showing off our products. That will resonate a lot of our ideal client, because if this is one of their interests that they are very much into, this will speak directly to the client. It speaks to their identity, and identity is one of the things that resonate a lot with people. Besides interest, you could also look at the breakdown by audience interactions with videos and with creators as well. If you're spending a little bit of time here trying to understand what TikTok is trying to show you, where like the spend is going, what are the first tiers for every single category, behaviors, interests, and things like that, you'll find out very meaningful and insightful info about your client. So you could take that feedback and improve your ad creatives based on those kind of insights from this dashboard. Now, the next thing is device. So here under the device, we could see like things like what is the network we're using. Most of the time is going to go to Wi-Fi. Then we have an operating system. Again, if you are targeting like the US, most likely it's going to be iOS. And then we have also the device model. So pretty much here, the only thing that we could learn is, what kind of devices they are using, because usually the devices they are using, they lead also to a specific conversion rate. On average, people who use iOS, they are converting much better on every single website. It's just something that, a lot of researches have been made. It's not something that I made up. So that is something that you could learn on top of that about your client. Now, once you know how to analyze in depth your ad creatives that you're running right now, the next problem that you might be facing with is actually how to create better ads. Because yeah, you can have all this data, but actions and implementations based on that data is simply useless. Now, throughout my career, I've observed that most likely, if you have a better ad hook, that is going to increase your overall sales. Because especially on TikTok, where the attention span is the shortest, there it's much more difficult to grab someone's attention. That's why the ad hook is going to dictate how successful your ad is going to be. So this is a video where I talk more in depth right here. Make sure to check this out, and I'll talk to you in my next video.